So for the past 4 weeks, we've been talking about how to practically live out the kinds of spiritual lives that Jesus calls us to. And specifically, we've talked about putting God first in 3 areas of our lives: our time, our talent, and our treasures. The problem is most people just don't do it. Take the tithe, for instance. Imagine just for a minute that this pie represents your paycheck, okay? And let's say that you have to use this pie to pay your bills, to take care of your payments, your financial responsibilities. So let's start first of all with your mortgage payment, okay? And we'll use a pretty big piece here. And we'll take that out of there, like so. We'll put it right there. All right? It's kind of messy, but it gets the idea across. Okay? Then you got a car payment. All right? And for a lot of us, the car payment is pretty big as well. Hopefully not as big as your mortgage. Put that over here. Then let's say you've been shopping, so now you got to pay the credit card bills. So we'll cut another piece like this. Put that over here. And the kids, you know, the kids are busy. They've got activities, so you got the soccer, the karate, piano lessons. So pay another one. And then it won't be long. It won't be long before you got to pay your taxes, right? Don't forget your taxes. That's very important. So you got to pay those. So Uncle Sam gets his. And then, you know, you have various bills like your cable TV, your cell phone bills, you go to the movies and so on. I mean, you got all that kind of stuff that you gotta pay here and got to pay there. And then you get down to the end and you look and you realize you have used almost all of it on yourself. And you say, oh no, I forgot God. And I got to give God something, so what do? We kind of scrape together what's left. We give it to God. We give God the leftovers. I mean, that's what most of us do. The problem is that if God's not number one in your time, if He's not number one in your talents, if He's not number one in your treasure, then He's really not number one in your life at all. And my fear is that we've got a lot of Christ followers who in reality are practical atheists because God is not a reality in their everyday lives. So, what should we do? Well, let's start with a new pie. And let's do this. Let's say, God, I'm going to give you the first 10% of this paycheck. And so, we kind of cut that out. This is going to be God's, the tithe, the very first 10%. Okay. And I put it over here and I say, God, this is for you, this first 10%. And what I'm saying to you, God, is that I realize this whole pie belongs to you. And now I'm giving this back to you as an expression of my worship of you. I honor you. And I thank you for giving me all this. And so when I do that, when I start out with the first 10% to give to God, I began to reorganize and reprioritize my life around God. And so that's the way we should do it. Because here's the deal, guys. 90% with God's blessing goes further than 100% without God's blessing. 90% with God's blessing goes further than 100% without God blessing. And that's true with our tithe, it's true with our time, it's true with our talents. So, how about you? Are you ready to take the challenge? The challenge to put God first in your life in terms of time and talent and treasure. There's no time better than the present to start obeying God. So, let's eat some pie.